What's going on, everybody? Today we're going to be discussing the Kifaru Lost Park Parka and Pants. Try and say that 5 times fast. It's a real tongue twister. But if you're like me, you're here because you hate being cold. I absolutely despise it. It ruins my hunts quicker than almost anything else. Well, I think this Kifaru set in the right situation is really going to be a game changer for a lot of you. It's been absolutely wonderful for me. I can't wait to talk to you guys about it. Now, for those of you that are new to the channel, I'm Matt with Deer and Donuts. We do a ton of gear reviews here. You're not gonna see us hunting a ton. Nobody wants to see that. But we are gonna get you in gear that's going to help you make a more successful hunting trip out into the wild. So, only if you like what you see here, we'd love to see you subscribe, come on back and visit us again. But let's jump into the review of this bad boy right here, the Lost Park Parka. Now we're going to start with the Parka. We'll jump into the pants later. But this Parka, we always like to start with the numbers. Kifaru advertises it at 300 bucks if you don't want to go with their upgrade compression sack. I'll be honest, I don't have that. I don't know what goes into that and whether it is truly worth the 40 bucks for the extra upgrade compression sack. Now it comes in 2 styles and 2 colors. You got this nice multicam, or they have like an olive drab sort of look. I think they call it Ranger Green. In addition to that, you have this half zip that I have, or you have a full length zip just like a normal jacket. It's really gonna be dealer's preference on what you want with that. I went with the half zip because I really love the kangaroo pouch in the middle. Really lets me keep my hands warm, stow some gear in there, everything like that. It just fits my style a little bit better. But I have no doubt that their full zip is probably about the same quality and warmth. So this review should be pretty standard for what that is also going to give you. Now let's talk about a few of the drawbacks on this before we really get into what is great about it. The first drawback is that it's not gonna be the lightest in the world and it's not gonna pack down super small. Kifaru advertises in their tech specs at 20 ounces. I can tell you that's probably about correct. I didn't throw it on the scale. I only threw the pants on the scale. We'll talk about that afterwards. The other drawback is this does not compress down super well. I've owned the Kuiu, I've seen the Sitka, I've seen a First Light. Those all compact down fairly small. That's not gonna be this bad boy. So if you're fighting for weight or space in your bag, this may not be the best place to look. Now for me, I throw it into a compression sack, keeps it dry, keeps it clean, and really compresses it down really well. I just pull it out of the compression sack when I need to use it and then go from there. But that is extra added weight of the additional sack because like the Kuiu one just stuffs into its own pocket. So I like to be transparent with you guys. This isn't the perfect jacket. There are things that could be done better, but again, I really think that the pros beat the cons in this and the trade-offs are worth it. Now the only other thing I don't love about this, and it's the same with any insulated puffy jacket, is you can hear it's a little loud. So like if you're looking for this for whitetail hunters or something like that, this is not gonna be it. This is mostly for you Western spot and stock glassing type folks that are gonna be sitting up on a hill, I don't know, hundreds of yards, if not miles from your game. And the noise factor just isn't the end of the world for you. It really doesn't matter a ton. Now let's jump into the things I like about this. I just used this first rifle elk in Colorado. It got down to, I think the coldest was 16 degrees. So definitely got a chance to put it through its paces. Now I can tell you this bad boy is warm. Throw it on almost instantly. It does a great job at warming your body up. It was an absolute game changer. It was super windy one of the mornings. Some jackets you throw on, it takes a little while to get you back up to where you need to be. But with this, the relief was almost instant. Now Kifaru advertises that they use ClimaShield Apex insulation in both this and the pants. Now that's just a brand of insulation just like anything else. But what I can tell you is that despite Kifaru just advertising this as good against the elements, I don't know if it has anything to do with the insulation or the way it's built or anything like that. It doesn't have any wind stopping protection to it, but it did an incredible job at cutting the wind up on some of those ridges in Colorado. With this being mostly for the glassing game, that's a huge deal because a lot of times we're up on the top of knobs and stuff like that, super exposed to the wind. If this can cut the wind and keep me warm, well, it's done its job. It's done exactly what I need it to do. Again, I took this down to 16 degrees. I was nice and toasty, had no complaints, and it's something that I can't always say was the same for my KUIU Super Down. There were times that even temps that I thought I should be warm, I had just a slight chill. Definitely didn't have that with this, so it really did its job. Besides the warmth, let's talk about some of the other things I really like about this jacket. Now the first one I'll just touch on real quickly, it's that ClimaShield Apex insulation. And really, any synthetic insulation to me is potentially a little bit better than down. Now down is lighter, I'm not gonna argue that, and sometimes it is a little bit warmer. But if you're looking at something like this where it's a hunting jacket, not like a sleeping bag or something that's going to be protected most of the time, you're looking at, if it gets wet, that down really loses its effectiveness. Now, luckily, aside from the wind, we had decent weather in Colorado, so I can't speak to how this insulates if it gets wet, but knowing that it's synthetic and that I have a little bit more of a fighting chance if this gets wet is really nice. Additionally, Kifaru has put on a DWR finish, which is durable water repellent. Now this isn't gonna act as a rain jacket for you ever or anything like that, but knowing that I can take a little bit of a shower or a little bit of mist and it's not going to absolutely soak this jacket is a really nice feature. The reason I no longer have my KUIU is because it was not at all durable. Now some of this was on me. I probably shouldn't have hiked in as much as I did, and I definitely shouldn't have fallen off a mountain into a bush. But what I can tell you is that thing was shredded fairly quickly. I don't anticipate that being as much of an issue with this. Now one, I've learned my lesson. I'm not going to hike in it. Also, this is too warm to hike in. But built in is 500 denier Cordura nylon in strategic spots on this jacket to really kind of build up the durability of it. You got it in a couple of different places. Your first spot is on the sleeve. It's on the back side of your sleeve. So as you brush your arm against things, set it down on rocks, everything like that, it's not gonna poke holes in this jacket. As you guys know, this Cordura will take an absolute beating and just keep on going. So knowing that almost the entire length of the back of my sleeve is protected, super nice thing to have. Now the other spot you have it is up on the kangaroo pouch, or if you have the full zip, it just splits it with the zipper. Same thing, Cordura is still there. Again, a great way to protect your jacket from an absolute beating. Now, it does increase the weight. I think that goes with some of that 20 ounces. That makes it a little bit more heavy than the KUIU, Sitka, First Light, whoever the case may be. But the trade-off to get a more durable jacket that I know I'm not gonna have to replace very often, again, to me, that pros cons list, it makes it worth it. Now, as far as sizing and fit, I am stuck somewhere between a large and XL in most brands. I got this as an XL because I didn't know if I would need to layer underneath it. I can tell you that's probably not gonna be the case for most hunts, but it fits about true to size for an XL. It's a little bit puffy on me, it's a little bit big. I don't necessarily mind that though on a puffy jacket. Now let's get rid of the parka and jump into the pants. And just like that, I give you pants. Now, a lot of the features on these pants are roughly the same as the parka. This is gonna cost you 260 bucks, or if you wanna upgrade for another 40 bucks, you can get the upgrade compression sack. Again, I can't give you a lot of info on that. That's a decision you're gonna have to make. For me, I have a Sea to Summit compression bag that I throw these in. It's waterproof, it's durable. Cost me like 30 bucks. Still saved me 50 bucks over the Kifaru compression sack for both of them. But you guys aren't here to talk about compression sacks. You're here to talk about staying warm. And that's what these are going to do. Now, I'm not a big insulated pants person. I rarely wear a warming layer underneath my pants. I usually just go in with like my Duluth Trading Company pants and call it a day. But when it dropped down to 16 degrees in Colorado, these bad boys came out and they did an outstanding job. Exactly like the parka, these bad boys kept me warm, they kept me comfortable, and I have no complaints about the warming aspect of them. If you're just looking to stay warm, you can't go wrong with these. Kifaru advertises in their tech specs that the pants without the upgrade compression sack weigh 0 pounds. Now that would be incredible. Like, for a company to make that claim, absolutely outstanding. Obviously, I know it's a typo, is what it is. I can tell you, I did throw these on the scale. They came out just under 2 pounds. It was like 1.7 for me. Again, same features as the jacket, although I feel like the Cordura in this is a little bit better placed. It's placed all the way around your waistline so that as things rub on the top of the waistline and stuff, you're not going to burst through seams or anything like that. It goes across your entire butt, so as you sit down on things or fall backwards, as often happens in the mountains, you're not gonna tear these pants up. And the other place it is on the front of the pants, if I can turn these bad boys, in the knee area. So if you take a knee, if you fall, anything like that, again, going to be fairly protected. I think the Cordura placement on the pants is really outstanding, really well thought out. It's not super complicated to figure out where humans are going to mess things up in the bottom half of their body, but still really nice to have, knowing that these pants are going to keep on fighting for a really long time. Now, as you guys can see, full length zipper on the pant legs. I really have a love-hate relationship with it. If you're looking to deploy these pants quickly, this is not gonna be the style. It does let you put these pants on with your boots on fairly easily. You can get the zippers down to a center point and then you just have to slide your boot past that. But then once that's done, like trying to get your pants zipped up while keeping them up by your waistband and everything like that seems to be not the most user-friendly situation. Also, because of the length of the zippers, you got a lot of material that can get grabbed. The pants lined with the same thing as the outside, and this is real easy to grab in your zipper. Now finally, let's talk about sizing. I wear usually like a large in most like shorts, pants, stuff like that. These are an XL because again, I didn't know if I would need to layer underneath. I can tell you for me, even these XLs are a little bit tight. I don't know if you might not want to jump up a size. It's going to be a lot user dependent on where your waistline is. But as always, we like to tell you our experience with this. And for me, these ran just a hair small in the waistline. The legs and everything like that fit perfectly fine. This was the only place I had a slight issue. And that may be mostly because of the zipper and having to cinch things and it just not going on like a normal pair of pants. But that's really it for the pants and the entire setup, to be honest. Now, I'll acknowledge if you're a backcountry hunter that goes back miles and miles and miles, and every ounce matters, this may not be the setup for you. But if you're somebody that hates being cold and doesn't go in a crazy distance and the ounces in the right piece of gear aren't gonna be a deal breaker to you, and I don't think you can beat this. I'll also acknowledge they're a little bit pricey. The set without the upgrade compression is $560 before tax. But I think really where that plays into its favor is it's well thought out in its durability and you're going to own these for a really, really long time. Now, I like to throw in the disclaimer, we're not involved with Kifaru in any way. I wish we were, they're a great company. However, we get no money or anything for saying this. We just truly do believe it's a great product. Now, as always, if you guys like what you saw here, jump on down, hit that like. We're moving in 1,000 subscribers, so please, please, please hit that subscribe button. Until the next gear review, I'm Matt with Deer and Donuts. Goodbye.